Welcome back to another Pokemon Falling Friday, home of the OG weekly market updates, where every Friday morning we go through last week's sales of sealed Pokemon products and Pokemon cards that are currently going down in price. And we do also cover any big Pokemon news and cards are set to get revealed. And we do have to do the question of the day. Which card is your favorite out of all of these Squirtle cards? We have the one from Stellar Crown, the one from 151, and our new Mega Evolution promo. Very curious. And then, of course, we do have to give a quick thanks for our video sponsor real quick, and that is Collectr. This app is the best of the best when it comes to tracking your collection. No other app even compares. I have tried every single one of them. They're always adding new boxes, cards, and features, so let us know down below if there's anything you want them to fix or add, and they'll get working on that ASAP. And then, of course, they do more giveaways than anyone in this entire hobby, so make sure you go follow them on all their socials so you do not miss out on any of their crazy, insane giveaways. I think we're going to do another giveaway very, very soon. And then, of course, if you want a grade 2 PSA for your very first time, you can click my link in the description, use code BEARD25 to get $25 off. And if you want to try out Tag, you can click my link, use code BEARD10 and get 10% off your first submission. And when you're watching this, I will be in Denver, Colorado at Trading Card Con with Coop, Beardad, a ton of other PokeTubers. I'm bringing all my life-size statues, so definitely swing by if you guys are in the area. It's going to be a blast. All right, hopping to PokeBeach here. It says Pitch Black Pokemon TCG set to release in July featuring Mega Darkrai EX. We can reveal Pitch Black will be the name of the 5th main English Mega Evolution set. I like the name. As we posted last week, it will release on Friday, July 17th. Pre-release will take place from July 4th to July 12th. And Darkrai is known as the Pitch Black Pokemon. Our set will obviously be based on Japan's Abyss Eye set featuring Mega Darkrai, which will release on May 22nd. And says, since there are no other Japanese sources that can be used for our set, this will be another case of an English set being almost a one-to-one copy of the Japanese set like Phantasmal Flames, Perfect Order, and Chaos Rising before it. This also means our English set will yet again be small. So that kind of sucks, especially, if those top few cards are not very good or not of popular Pokemon and it's a small set. Usually does not do the best, but that means it will be somewhat cheap and affordable. But yeah, we still got to see what's in it. All right, let's get to it. We have the Silver Tempest booster box. This was at $490, dropped down to $419, got back up to about $475. Now last sold $459, $470, $490 with a picture, and $455, $430, $445. Next, we have the Chilling Rain booster box. This was at $550. Now last sold $479, $400, $460, $486, $504, $520. $500. And we have the new Chaos Rising. This is on pre-sale on TCG Player, but it was at $255, then went up to $275 for some reason, and now last sold $250, all at $250. Next, we have the Scarlet and Violet base set booster box. This also just keeps going up and down. Was at $245, went up to $270, dropped down to $255, back up to $270. Now last sold $250. $275, $267, $260, $245, $235. And we have the Twilight Masquerade booster box just coming down in price a little bit. It was at $341. Now that's sold $332. One at $350, but then it goes $330, $330, $324, $322, $339. So dropping a little bit. Next, we have the Prismatic Evolutions ETB. This got all the way up to $210. Now that's sold $161, some about 25 of them at $161. That's crazy. Another one at $170, $161, $163, $150. And we have the Pokemon Center ETB, just coming down in price a little bit because this one also went insane. Got up to almost $600. Now that's sold $520, $520, $530, $554, $600 with a picture. Next, we have the Prismatic SPC, dropping in price a little bit. Was at $390. Now last sold $340, $321, $335, $316, $310. And we have the Ascended Heroes Booster Bundle. This is at $119. This is also not out yet. Now last sold $93, $92, $89, $95. Next, we have the Perfect Order regular ETB. This was at $145. Now last sold $74, $95, $91, $64. Most of them are at $73. Next, we have the Perfect Order Pokemon Center ETB. This is at $390. Dropped down to $215. Went back up to $290. Now last sold $138, $137, $123, $125. Next, we have the Perfect Order Booster Box. Was at $250. Now last sold $197, $209, $205, 208, 196. And what's actually crazy to think about is I think that Perfect Order booster box would be the cheapest English booster box that you can buy in the entire world right now, which is just wild to actually think about. But all right, we have the Pokemon Day collection here. This was at $75. Now last sold $29, $28, $23, $24, $25. And we have the first partner Series 1 box. We're just watching this thing like a hawk, hoping it drops, and it is down a couple dollars. All last sold now is about $52. It was selling for $55 last week, but hopefully it just drops a little bit more because this thing's only supposed to be like $16, $17, so $50 is actually a lot. And here are the promos. So we have the Turtwig. It's got up to $14. Now last sold $7.50, $8.50, $9, $10. I hope these get cheaper too. Next we have the Chimchar. This was at $11, dropped down to $7, and it's up like $1 now. Last sold $6, $7, $8. Next we have the Piplup. This was at $12, went up to $17. Now last sold $13, $17, $14, $14, $17, $13, kind of all over the place. And we have the Litten. I really feel like Litten does not get enough love. I feel like Litten's one of the best starter Pokemon we've ever gotten. This was at $8, got up to $10.70, and now last sold $9, $7, $8. Next, we have the Poplio. This is one of my daughter's favorite Pokemon because we have a giant life-size Poplio that she sleeps with, and it's one of the few Pokemon that she can say. This is at $8, dropped down to $6.50. Now last sold $7.50, $6.50, pretty much all at $6 or $7. Next, we have the Rowlet. This was at $7.50, went up to $13.62. Now last sold $10.20, $8, $11, $10, $9. And we have the Squirtle. This was at $30, went up to $35, dropped down to $29. Now last sold $32, $35, $28, $28, $29, $30. Next, we have the Charmander. This was at $24 and went up to $37. Now last sold $35, $36, $33, $34. And the Bulbasaur. This was at $20. Then went up to $29. Now we got sales at $25, $25, $24, $26. So yeah, those Gen 1s are definitely pretty expensive. And then we have the Greninja Gold Star promo here. Just coming down in price a little bit. Got up to about $29. Now that sold $22, $21, $25, $23. I still feel like this card is so criminally underrated. Especially like if you guys do not know about Gold Stars, they're some of the most iconic Pokemon cards we've ever gotten. Greninja is one of the most popular Pokemon. It's his shiny. I mean, this thing is crazy. Next, we have the Mischievous. Like, I can honestly see that Greninja Gold Star being a $100, $200 card, even though there is a ton of them. But it's just such a crazy card. All right, Mischievous illustration art from Ascended. What was that, $20? Just keeps slowly falling. Last sold 6, 5, and 7. We even got a couple at 4. And someone bought 4 of them at 4. And we have the Aurorus. I really hope I see this card this weekend because I'm definitely going to buy it. It was at $22. Now last sold 6, $5.50. Pretty much all at $5 and $6. But yeah, it's such a beautiful card. I really want this one in a PSA 10. Next, we have the Weavile. This is from Ascended. It was at $15. Now last sold 6, 7, 5. Next, we have the Dracloak from Ascended. This was at $39 and it's still just slowly falling. Last sold 14, 13, and 12. Next, we have that new Gengar GameStop promo. Not really going down in price. I just wanted to, keep an eye on it. Was at $103, which is crazy for a GameStop promo. I mean, it's a pretty sweet art, but I would never pay that for this card. Got up to $125, and the last couple sales are at $110. But I have a feeling this card is going to come down in price pretty heavily. Next, we have the Excadrill EX SIR from Black Bolt. I think Black Bolt is a massive set. These cards are not easy to pull. Beautiful art. Not the most popular Pokemon, but super nice card. This was at $21 3 months ago. I think originally it was like $50. Yeah, $52 originally. Last sold $16.50, $18, $17. I feel like any SIR, or basically any card like that from Black Bolt or White Flare, that's actually really difficult to pull for $15 is not a bad pickup. Next, we have the Durant from Surging Spark starting to come down in price. It was at 19, just went crazy, went all the way up to $31. Now last sold 25, 22, 26, 21. And we have the Mega Clefable, basically the only card not going up in price in perfect order. No joke, every other card is starting to go back up in price, so definitely watch my next Market Monday, where I will be announcing the winner for that Mega Charizard X UPC. So go find that post on Instagram or go watch my last Market Monday, and I have it in the description there if you guys want to enter for that UPC. Yeah, the Mega Clefable was at $111. Now last sold 73, 70, 71, and we did have some sales at 69 and stuff. So I have a feeling this card is also going to start going up in price a little bit. Next, we have the Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. This was at 176, dropped down to 90, then started to go back up in price, went up to like $96, $97. Now last sold 88, 85, 98, 84. So yeah, when these new sets come out, before, when the market wasn't crazy, a new set would come out, you just wait a few months and it just keep dropping in price. But now, it looks like these sets come out, the card drops in price, and then it just automatically goes back up in price for some reason. So if a new set drops and there's a card that you think is pretty undervalued at that price in that first couple weeks, it might be a decent pickup, just the way, everything's been going lately. Next, we have the Zapdos EX from 151. It's got up to $143. Now last sold 105, 101, 103. Couple still at 125 and 130, but most of them are close to 100. Next, we have the Venusaur EX from 151, was at 160. Now last sold 130, 129, 125, 115. And the Blastoise. This was at 221, which is crazy. Now last sold 149, 150, 199. Next, we have the Mega Charizard X. This was at $830. Now last sold $800, $799, $784, $780, $760, $735, $730. But I've been watching this card, and I just noticed a lot of decent sellers or, somewhat new sellers. They'll just put it up for a pretty good deal just to sell it immediately, because there's a bunch listed at, $800 and $805. But if you put it on there for $775, it's going to sell basically immediately. Next, we have the Mega Dragonite EX from Ascended, still dropping. This was at $522. Now last sold $287, $285, $286. Then it goes $291, $339. Not a ton of sales for this card. We get maybe a couple per day. And we have the Gold Mew from Celebrations. This was at $70. Now last sold $85, but otherwise everything else is in the 60s, 62, 63, 60, 64, 68, 61. Next, we have the Tag Team Magikarp and Wailord. This had big sales, over $1,000. Now last sold $847, $845, $880. And then, last month, that's when we had the $990 and the $1,000 sale. Next, we have the Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team. Now, a ton of the Tag Team promos dropped in price from, when they went crazy. But now all of them are starting to go back up in price, and this is one of the last ones that has not gone back up in price yet. So that's why I wanted to put it on here. This is at $190. Now last sold $145, $155, $168, $144, $170. And I think the Pikachu and Zekrom GX Tag Team is one of the best ones we've gotten. So I could definitely see this one shooting back up in price. All right, we are jumping to 130 point. Just checking some new PSA 10 sales of Ascended Heroes. So here's the Team Rockets Mewtwo. We had sales at $1,400, $1,325. But our newest one, we got one at $1,025 and one at $950. Next, we have the Pikachu. This is the Pink Pikachu EX from Ascended. We had sales at $1,450, $1,525, $1,600. And then we had one at $1,750, and our newest one is at $1,310. Next, we have the Mega Dragonite EX SIR. This had sales at $2,300, $2,250, and now last sold is $2,000. Before that was $1,928. So it looks like the cheapest sale is probably that $1,928. Next, we have the Pikachu in the Forest. Now, this card is going up in price raw, so the PSA 10 is also doing the same, because we had sales at $2,700, $2,500, $2,450, $2,425, and now last sold $3,100, $31, $35. Wow. Very expensive. Next, we have the Mega Gengar EX SIR. This card is also doing really good because last sale is 36, 34, 32.50, and that's what it's been selling for this entire time since it came out. So holding very, very strong. And the last couple things is the new Mega Greninja EX from Ninja Spinner. This was at $320. Now last sold $295, $290, $299, $289, $310, $313. And last on the list, we have the Gold Greninja. Now you've seen how many sales we had for the actual SIR, but when we check the sales for the gold card, there's 2. Last sold $440, and before that $501. There's 4 of these listed. We can get it shipped for $445. So yeah, people must think this is just a little too expensive right now, or it's just that hard to pull to where no one has any. But still, to only have 2 sales is kind of crazy. But I'm pretty excited for these 2 Greninja cards. I think they're going to do very good in English. I do wish the set was a little bit bigger, but I mean, having Greninja as a mascot compared to like Zygarde for Perfect Order, it's just going to make the set a little bit more popular. And I do really like these gold cards. They're really starting to grow on me. But I've always been a fan of the gold cards, so it's just kind of nice seeing the gold cards get a little bit of respect because they always got kind of shafted, especially compared to rainbows. People always like rainbows more than the golds. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Find Friday. If you guys like this content and want to stay ahead of the market, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all that, you guys know what to do. And then if you guys want to watch my last vending video, which I would really, really appreciate that, I'm trying to get my vending videos to pop off. Make sure you leave a like, comment. There's a giveaway in that video. Leave us some hype points. I'd really appreciate that. Click that one right here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.